So I recently shared some research on tokenization of assets from Thomas Kipp, and I think this is some of the most important research that I've seen in a while in the AI space. And there's two fundamental reasons. The starting reason is that just the necessity of tools is to have assets. Even if you're talking outside games or movies or whatever, the ability to have something like a hammer and nail. You need that hammer to work in some sort of way that is stable, and you need to have nails work in some sort of way that is stable, and that interaction to work in some sort of way that is stable. And so those are assets. And assets can be everything from glasses to, hats to literally just everything. And they can even be conceptual things like the relationships between things. So let's say you have a character in a certain pose or doing a certain action, be able to take that pose and apply it to a different character. That's still an asset. So there's that. The separate piece is that the way tokenization has created assets in language is super powerful. You can have a giant document, and some of the best AIs will be able to take that large document, and you can say, on page 6, what is being interacted with, or what is being eaten, maybe, and how does it affect the story? And the AI can go look on page 6 and say, oh, well, that person is eating a piece of pizza, and on page 20, that person ends up coming back and sitting on that piece of pizza, and they have to go into the bathroom to clean up that they got pizza on them, and that saves them from the people that are breaking into the building, not finding them, or something. So that ability to understand what the assets are through the tokenization of these assets and the relationships between those tokens, both immediately and over time, is super powerful. So if you model your 3D glasses or draw your 3D glasses or 2D, whatever, that you want to be your asset in your story, or even generate, you want those glasses to be affected by the world in a way that makes sense. The most fundamental one being that they're consistent in being what they are. So you don't want to have someone put on the glasses and have within 30 seconds they're different glasses or the color changes or whatever. That's like real basic. But the cool thing about the tokenization that is kind of beyond a 3D asset traditionally is that things can be implied understandings over time. So let's say that when something happens in a story, I have a scene where debris explodes out of something, and I have the character wearing these glasses, and that debris hits the glasses, either because I let it simulate or because I directly had either said or had directed the asset of that debris to hit the glasses. So that creates a crack. That is now a piece of that asset that is now can also be tokenized. And because of where it is in the overall structure of the story, you can now go, okay, well, I want to work on a scene and the character is really traumatized and trying to read something. They put on their glasses and the same exact crack that happened earlier is still in those glasses. Then you also want to be able to go, okay, well, I need to go add a scene earlier and work on this character and have it just automatically make the glasses not have the crack in it because it understands where we are in the temporal relationship. So that's another layer. The tokenization creates just a lot of really interesting implied actions and controls that can either be based on their temporal space or just how things work in real life. So like I said, the debris hitting the thing, it might just automatically make a crack and you go, okay, I like that. I want to keep the crack. We're gonna roll with that. Or you might say, I like the idea, but I'm gonna redesign the crack because I want it to be really dramatic and maybe have like a circle in the middle so it, adds to the character's look. They have this like crack circle eye, so you can have a lot more control. The other thing is, I'm always harping on this idea that I get mixed responses from, that we need to move past text or more directly words. But I say text because it actually is text is the main issue, is that we're typing something in. Saying something and having it me go, oh, bring up my glasses asset, or bring up my lantern asset, or whatever else you're trying to get. That kind of request is not, you're not really losing control in that interaction. Whereas if I say, have this character grab his hat, so he grabs his hat. How he grabs his hat could be anything. So if I can literally grab that hand and say, grab that hat, or maybe I don't even need to, me just putting the hand close enough, the thing guesses that I need to grab the hat. Then if I say, well, I want them to take off the hat and put it in the side corner of the frame, basically where that goes could be anything, like, oh, he puts it over here, he puts it there. So if I want it to be in a specific place because of how I want it to be handed off to the next shot, or because of how I want it to imply what I'm doing. So, if I'm holding out the hat like this, then it's more like I'm asking for something maybe. Or if I'm holding it up like this, maybe it's a gesture of, talking or whatever. So those kinds of controls and the instant action of being able to just touch your screen, move that, it's in the right framing. Maybe twist it, those kinds of controls being instant is just a whole different level. Whether you are someone that does not care about craft or whatever, and you're just a consumer of flashy media, you're like, cool, I just like a lot of pictures and I like to see cool things. Being able to just grab and move something by touch, or pointing or gesture, whatever, that's already just a huge amount more control that I think anyone that experiences that in a meaningful way will just not want to go back to the previous way. But beyond that, people that do have craft and skill will be able to have really finite capabilities of control and, exactly knowing what they want and adjusting it and being able to work in synchronous with the AI. If you work with a fluid simulator and you say, okay, here's the ball I have, and I move it over here. If you've done your simulation and you've got your volume, the fire and smoke or whatever coming off that thing will just react. It'll come with it and it'll leave a trail. So in the same way, if you're drawing a picture and you're like, okay, this is the starting frame I want, and here's the end frame, and it does some guess of what you want, and then you draw some adjustment in the middle, and then it does sort of like a Bezier everything in the middle. Those simulations of how things move between points can become an incredible tool, just amazing for artists. And the closer it gets to just actually being a simulation of that Bezier, of whatever actions people are wanting, whether it's blending between performance actions. So let's say you have an actor that's doing a lot of different performances, but then they want that character to go leap off a building and slam into the side and be clawing for their lives. Maybe it's a really hard thing to perform because you just don't have the infrastructure to set that up. That actor can do, example performances of other things, and then apply it to that performance. And because you're getting this in between of concepts, and it's using this larger understanding of simulating reality, you can get some really cool stuff. So this is, I found myself on a tangent there, but conceptually the main core here is that assets are super, super valuable and really a necessity to a powerful tool. And tokenization is a way that can become more powerful than even traditional uses of assets were before. And also, it can be just a much more something that is more intuitive to people, needs less menus. The level of detail that you go into with something can be a choice. So you may just broadly want something to do certain things, but you want a lot of control on the part of your process that you are truly passionate about. Being able to fluidly move between those choices will be a super powerful thing for artists.